Hello. What we're going to work on tonight is my next episode of the Locksmithing 101 series. We're going to work with Adams Rite storefront locks. This is an Adams Rite. They come in a few different varieties. This is a dead latch. They also have the swing bolt, just the bolt that pivots up, and they also have a hook bolt that's just a hook instead of just a straight bolt. They all three pretty much work the same way. They all install the same way. This is all I have on me, so we're going to go with this one here. First thing, let's look at the back of it. Hang on. Let's flip it. We'll go inside the lock. There you can see the cam, the piece that's turning there. That is called an Adams Rite cam. There's different shapes on the cams. That one's an Adams Rite. And as you can see, it comes down. It hooks on that piece right there, and it pulls the latch back. All there is to it. And there's a dead latch here that when the dead latch gets pushed in, you can't use a knife or a screwdriver to pry the bolt back to get in. But okay, how we take these apart, you have to take the edge off first. And you'll run into people. I actually had a customer that had a double cylinder. The inside cylinder fell out, set screw loosened up, which I'll show you here in just a second. He couldn't figure out how to get the cylinder out, so he took a hammer and a screwdriver and beat the cylinder through until it came out. So hopefully somebody watches this and learns a little something. 2 screws. The hook bolts and the swing bolts both have 3 screws, but you said once you see, we take both those screws off. Then take off the faceplate. Pow. There we go. Now, what you'll see up here are 2 set screws. Those set screws hold the threaded mortise cylinder into place. So you can't just spin the cylinder out. It's locked in by those set screws. So what you do is loosen the set screw. And then just spin the cylinder out. Just turn it, and it's threaded. And that's it. Now you can see this channel that runs in the side of the mortise cylinder. You'll see those in pretty much every mortise cylinder you come across. That is for that little set screw right there to lock into. That set screw locks into that channel. So when you're installing this, or when you're installing a cylinder, what you want to do is be careful. You don't want to cross thread it. What I do normally is I pull the key out halfway and just kind of use that as something to hold on to. But turn it backwards a time or two. Just make sure you don't get it cross threaded. There we go. Turn it nice and easy. And you want to make sure that groove is at 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever whichever side of the door you're on, whatever you're doing. Make sure it's in there. Tighten the set screw. And what you can do is just kind of wiggle it back and forth a little bit to make sure it's locked in. Because with the door here, you can't really see the groove. So tighten her up. And there we go. It's installed. Now, some of the common problems we have with one other thing real quick, sorry. If once you loosen the set screw all the way up, like so, you still can't, the cylinder won't turn. What you have to do is, there is a screw up here. That screw you get to from the front. It's an Allen head, or takes an Allen driver. Loosen that screw up, because what happens is you tighten that screw and the screw pushes itself against the inside of the aluminum frame on the door. So it's pushing this way, pushing the lock body out, putting a lot of pressure against the side of the cylinder. So that'll jam you up. So if you cannot spin the cylinder freely, loosen that top screw up here, and there's one on the bottom also. Loosen both of those up, and then you should be able to get the cylinder out. So get a lot of service calls. Customer will call you and say the cylinder spun sideways, or it's just spinning. You know, it's just that set screw needs tightened up. Another call we get on these a lot is key stuck. And I'll show you that one there. Key's in it, key works, they get in fine, you know, everything's good. They go to take their key out, the key will not come out. The reason the key won't come out is because the cam on the back is loosened up. That cam gets loose, those screws loosen up, and the plug gets out of whack. It's not lined up with the top pins. See, you can kind of see it there. The plug is wanting to pull out. So all you have to do is put pressure on the plug, hold it on it with your thumb or whatever, and the key will come right out. So see, it's not wanting to come out. Just hold the plug in and pull the key out. So if you run across that, you know, you're trying to close up your business, it's 5 o'clock, you don't want to call a locksmith out. Just, the key's stuck in it. Just lock her up, it'll be fine. Put your finger on it, pull it out. Then take it apart tomorrow. But see, if I tighten those two screws on the back here, which you wouldn't be able to do with it installed, you'd have to take it apart, of course. If I tighten those two screws up, then the key works fine. So that's something else to look for. What else do I got? Oh, the reason that loosens up is because what people will do, instead of turning the key and grabbing the door handle and pulling the door open, they'll turn the key and they'll pull the door open with the key. So all the weight of the door closer, everything is put on this plug and those two tiny little screws on the back of the mortise cylinder. So, and you can tell people all you want to, but they're not going to listen. Tell them not to pull on the key, use the door handle, but they're going to do whatever's easiest, which is just pulling the key to open the door, but that's job security. So, tighten them up, use some Loctite on them if you want to, but they're still going to loosen. And one other thing, trim rings. This kind right here that goes on behind the cylinder, like this. You've all seen those, or look for them on storefront doors. That right there is junk. Don't do it. Get rid of those. Put on the anti-spin collars. I'm not going to go into it any more than that. I mean, you've seen how they go together. So, you'll have people try to spin the cylinders out. Put these on, so instead of grabbing the cylinder like this one, you can still get on that to spin it out. With the collar in place, you can't get onto it and spin it out. It just spins the collar around and around. So if you don't have those collars installed on your business, pick some up off of eBay and put them on. There's nothing to it, and make your business a lot more secure. So that's it. That's the Adams Rite, kind of in a nutshell, how they work. That's about all I can think of. So we get a lot of calls with the key getting stuck like that. And so you know how to fix that now. We got the set screws. The set screws are either regular, just take a small regular bit, or sometimes they are Allen head. or you have to use an Allen driver on them. Like I said, same with the top ones up here. These do come in different back sets. There's 15/16, there's 1 1/8, 1 1/4, all the way up to 1.5 inches. And that's what happens a lot of times is people will use the wrong back set, and then they'll tighten up that top and bottom screw, and it'll just put a ton of pressure against that cylinder and makes it impossible to spin the cylinder out until you loosen that top and bottom screw. That's about it, I think. If you have any questions, let me know. If you'd like a little more info on them, adamsrite.com has breakdowns for all their locks, installation guides, templates. It's a really good website. Check them out. And thanks for watching.